Welcome to Civic Voters Education 2023 on Liberty Television. I am Mariam Zakari. In every election, citizens' participation is very important. There is the need, therefore, to carry all the segments of the society along in the electoral process. Voter and civic education are necessary to ensure that all constituents, men and women alike, understand their rights, their political system, the contest they are being asked to decide, and how and where to vote. It's now time for the news update with Nen Yilmazaka. And after that, we will be looking at the effect of hate speech and fake news to the forthcoming elections.
Hello and welcome to the new segment of Civic Voters Education 2023. My name is Nen Yilmazaka. The Independent National Electoral Commission has launched an investigation into the alleged extortion of registered voters in Enugu by one of its staff in the ongoing collection of permanent voter cards. In a video that has now gone viral, an unidentified official of INEC was seen demanding money before issuing the permanent voters cards to their owners. She said the money was for her transportation to the local government from where they were supposed to pick up their cards. Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman Rotimi Ayekami, in a chat with newsmen, said the Commission is investigating the matter. Meanwhile, Yaga Africa has commenced mobilization and sensitization exercise for youth in Edo State on the need for them to collect their permanent voters cards (PVCs) ahead of the general elections. The Yaga Africa team moved from academic institutions, churches, mosques, organizations and marketplaces on the drive to provide the voters the relevant information on how to get their PVCs. Our next resident electoral commissioner in Edo State, Obo Afanga, who actively participated in the sensitization, commended Yaga Africa for the high-level sensitization. He expressed optimism that there will be high voter turnout in the 2023 election and promised the Commission's readiness to support the activities of the team where necessary. Also, Yaga Africa has urged the 18 registered political parties and the candidates to shun hate speech and other electoral wrongdoing, but to engage in issue-based campaigns and enlighten their voters on their conduct. This is contained in the 20-page Yaga Africa is Watching the Vote Third National Pre-Election Observation Report. It noted that the 2023 general election is Africa's biggest elections in 2023 and an opportunity for Nigerians to elect leaders for respective offices, which include the office of the President, 469 legislators of the National Assembly, 28 governors, and 993 State Assembly legislators in a potentially contentious election. A non-governmental organization focused on encouraging women in politics elect her has engaged the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and civil society organizations (CSOs) to ensure that more women are involved in the electoral process ahead of the February 2023 general elections. This was a trust at a one-day workshop targeted at mainstreaming women's representation and participation in the 2023 general elections held in Ikeja, Lagos, in partnership with INEC and with support from European Union. The founder, Electa Ibijoke Faburode, while speaking at the forum, noted that women are significant to electioneering in Nigeria and preserving the country's democracy. Moving on, the International Press Center, IPC, has demanded bulletproof vests for journalists covering the 2023 elections. Executive Director of the IPC, Langwe Arogudade, stated this during the presentation of the outcomes of the organization's analysis of trends in reportage of the 2023 elections. The IPC chief said journalists are victims of election violence, adding that 250 journalists were attacked during the 2019 polls. And that's all we can take on the news segment. My name is Nen Yilmazaka. Thank you so much.
In Nigeria, it is a crime to engage in hate speech in the course of campaigns. Section 97 of Electoral Act states a candidate person or association that engages in campaigning or broadcasting based on religious, tribal, or sectional reason to promote or oppose a particular political party or the election of a particular candidate commits an offense under this act and is liable on conviction to A maximum fine of 1 million naira or imprisonment for a term of 12 months or both, and B, in the case of a political party, to a maximum of 10 million naira. Election periods, therefore, provide an opportunity for groups to vent frustrations. Both physical and online campaign advertisements play into these divisions and frustrations. We sought the views of some Nigerians on these issues, and these were their responses.
Regarding the hate speech, I think it's not really appropriate to do that, in the sense that if you have a choice for a person you want to vote for, you don't really need to push or to push that hatred. Let the person, he or she, decide why and he or she wants to vote for the person. Trust, I have my reasons why I want to vote for that person, and which is very nice to we all understand that, okay, this is what we want as in Nigeria, this is all what we want to help the country. So it's advisable you don't put the hate speech out there, because it can also cause depression to others. It causes a lot of problem in the sense that it puts people in there okay, since this is a person I trust, in the sense that there's a fake news concerning the person, you want to go for that person again. So I believe the fake news has to stop, and also do not listen to it. Internet has really caused a lot of things in our country, and we the youth also, we love that ginger, this, that. So I believe yourself comes first, and your opinion also matters.
What I would say to Nigerians is, please, Nigerians, try as much as possible to hold your temper and not to talk about hate speech, because what you are thinking and what the other person around you is thinking is far different from each other. And most of the times we talking about this hate speech on English. It doesn't. If there's any way we can go to the normal dialect of what people understand, especially most people don't even know how to speak Pidgin English. If there's any way you can translate to the Hausa, so that themselves, to the Igbos, to the Yorubas, so that themselves we understand that we are really talking about the speech that is not good, because it triggers a lot of tension, it triggers a lot of troubles within our vicinity. It even makes people that has high BP to go high, because the kind of hate speech it triggers something that's pure. So we are saying to general public, no matter what is going on, we shouldn't even talk about hate speech. I beg, think and first before you talk. Hear well before you talk. See with your eyes before you talk. It's not that somebody just say. You just put it to the public. And most of the times it comes from people you feel that cannot lie to you. People you feel that they are intellectuals. When fake news come from intellectual, come from a man with wealth and power, it flies very, very bad. So we are saying to the public, please, this is Nigeria. We don't have any other country to call our own.
Anybody that caught that is carrying fake news supposed to be arrested and punished for doing that. But because we are corrupt, we don't do the right thing. So that is why everybody says what they like or do what they like. Because there is no law. We don't respect law in Nigeria.
You see a lot of fake news there. When you open your phone, you see a lot of fake news. By the time you go through, you see they're all fake. And I don't know, I think it is the rest, but we don't know how to get about, because all these things are being posted on social media. So you don't know who is even doing it. Even the people responsible, you cannot identify them. You understand? You open your phone today now, you will see maybe something that never exists at all. They will tell you something has happened to some place. You understand? At the end of the day, you see all this fake. So it's a big problem here with us in Nigeria.
This hate speech mostly we will say is caused by our federal government, because as you can see the country now, there's a very big problem. I'm just coming back from bank. I go to maybe 5 to 6 banks. I didn't get what I want up to now. Then all these are the cause of the hate speech that is going around the country now. Please, they should stop spreading fake news, please. Please and please. Especially those who are posting something in media that the money are fake, that they are putting 1,000 inside Bula, is coming to new 1,000. It's not possible. It's not possible. I have a friend that works in printing and press. He works in Tawada, where they provide the ink of doing error. So I believe it's not possible.
If I'm to speak about the danger of hate speech, it can affect the ignorant people, those who does not know their left from the right, or who does not go to school. For instance, hate speech cannot work in the village, but if there is hate speech in the town, to me, I want to see who wrote that hate speech, and the person is complaining about who. If I see hate speech from the Yorubas, I will know that it should be directed to, maybe it may not be the Yoruba person, it may be directed to another tribes. I will consider to look the source of that hate speech and know maybe the hate speech is true or not, because every hate speech or unofficial statement always have a root background. The origin or source of fake news are always from individual, but I will look at the origin. Is it coming from a well-registered newspaper or television or organization? If it is just from a well-weighed person, I will not accept it.
It can get really emotional. The candidates might not be able to handle it well, and people that are trying to support also will not be able to know or dissect what to say and what not to say, because everybody is on the edge right now, so people can say things that they don't mean just to pass across any sort of information or something of such. People don't get to verify information or verify news, and before you know, 100 clicks, a lot of people have seen it. So on the issue of fake news, people need to get verified information first. But the point now is that the way media is being controlled, you cannot tell which one is fake news or the real news. So when people start deciphering or trying to verify information, then they will be able to tell when certain information or news are fake, so that they will be able to know how to go on with their activities and stuff like that.
This program is facilitated by Institute for Media and Society and funded by the European Union. The content of this broadcast do not reflect the views of Institute for Media and Society nor that of the European Union.
Only 3 days ago or so, we issued a notice of election. That is another important legal matter that has been taken care of, which means that, we in INEC, as we speak with you today, we are getting well prepared to conduct this election, on the 25th of February, that is this month. We have gone a very long way. We started for the political parties to conduct their primaries, and they did and chose their candidates. We have people now ready to participate in this election. Political parties were given a go-ahead to conduct political campaigns, and they have been campaigning. In the process of this campaigning, they have been notifying us at INEC of the campaign timetable, and we have been monitoring accordingly and submitting reports. This report and this monitoring is very important, so that it will tell us, the level of what is happening in the field. Either the political parties are conducting these campaigns peacefully or not. Is it with violence? Are they basing their campaigns on issues, or are they basing it on, character assassination and stuff like that, which has nothing to do with a lot of people who are going to vote in this country? People are looking for issues. People will look at people who can deliver something and will be beneficial to them and their coming generations. So we have been doing so for a very long time. We are still doing it. Furthermore, we are also monitoring the political party finances. Apart from the campaigns, we look at their finances. How do they get the money to put so that there will be no too much money out, which will encourage vote buying. We don't want vote buying. We don't want hate speech. We don't want vote buying. So we have been monitoring that. Also, most of the non-sensitive materials that we use to conduct this selection are already in our state offices or in area council offices. As of today, we have more than 85% materials ready. We are waiting for 3 materials now. The other one, the 2 are materials, the other one is not. I call it material because it's sensitive material. Training of personnel who are going to conduct this election is very critical to our election. Next week, in the next 10 days or so, we are going to be busy training our ad hoc staffs, the SPOs, the TOs, the APOs, those who are going to conduct our election. We are going to train the monitors and observers. We are going to train political party agents. We'll give them training on how to conduct themselves during election in the polling units. All these people have applied, through our portals, and they are undergoing selective interviews so that we know we have correct people, proper people who are going to conduct our election. What we are waiting for now, we are batching the rest of other materials here, and we have already started to taking them to our area council offices. We are going to wait for the most sensitive materials, that is the ballot papers, the result sheets and what have you, which will come later, during the process of conducting this election. Talk about hate speech. This hate speech, people associate it more with what I have said earlier. We monitor political party campaigns. So what people say, so that, instead of going to discuss, issues, people go to discuss personalities, bringing in old stories and what have you that has nothing to do with the voter, and then people start, attacking themselves verbally. The hate speech, we have noted that in Hausa they call it akwai Mugumbawa. There's a story about Mugumbawa in Hausa, So the Mugumbawa is like a hate speech. So hate speech could be very harmful, to the process of election. And I'm sure your station and other stations must have hosted, the National Commissioner for Voter Education, Barrister Festus Okoye. He has been, dwelling, on the rudiments of the hate speech, its illegalities, and how INEC, has been, have been formulating policies on how to, checkmate hate speeches and reduce it to a minimal level in order to have a very safe, electioneering and campaign. This he has been doing so, and what he has been saying, it covers all the states of the Federation, including the FCT. I have witnessed myself a fake news, which could be very damaging. Fake news should be checked. Besides, there are laws. There are laws that guys, damages. If you damage somebody's character assassination, and spreading fake news about somebody. This fake news could be damaging. It could also generate people thinking, otherwise about so many things that are not supposed. The news, it misleads people. What I'm talking about, fake news, it can be damaging not only to electoral processes, but it can be damaging to the national peace and its own prosperity. I'm telling you, fake news could be very damaging. People should please desist from fake news. especially fake news that concerns election. This election, we have a motto. Our election is transparent, is free, fair, and by the grace of God, it will be credible, and we have made it inclusive. You can see that in the process of inclusivity, a lot of devices have been, developed to take care of people who are impaired. Albinos, the blind people, they can vote freely, without even assistance. So, fake news, nobody is going to be enfranchised in this election. Those who are spreading fake news about election, about this and that, they should please desist from such something. That is the most I can say about fake news. Besides the capturing of biometrics and the fashion, we now upload results at the polling units. As soon as election is completed, in the polling unit, is uploaded. So anybody, anywhere can get that. But unless from that source, any other source, please, people should disregard it. The only source is INEX source where we upload. If you monitor, we have situation rooms, where this, people capture this. Unless it is uploaded, and let me tell you something, as soon as it is done, it is uploaded. So if it is from INEC uploadment, please, you can regard it as authentic. If it is not, if it is from another source, people should please disregard it until when they hear from INEC. Besides, even after that, uploaded, it is going to be collated. There will be collation, and then final tally will be announced after the collation. I hope I'm clear on this one. So people should, disregard any other source except the one that is uploaded from INEC, especially after. Unless you do that, any other source is not from. It's not correct. It's fake. Any other source is fake. That is the real source after the on the conclusion of the election, after the counting. It is done on the. And let me tell you, even if there's no network, it doesn't mean to say that the result will not be uploaded. No. As soon as you move to where there's network, the result will be uploaded immediately. That is the real news. That is the real result. Any other one is fake, unless it's uploaded from, our own device. It's not the correct news. And our own is immediately after the count is over, it is uploaded. Let me tell you something about this mock accreditation exercise. It is to test the capability of the viewers, preparatory for the election. You remember and you recall that during the last FCT election, we had a lot of challenge with the, performance and functionality of the viewers. I as a rec, I was not happy with that development. Neither are my bosses. So they went through, we went through this, and we acknowledge that the viewers did not work as expected during that FCT election. And then they went and the beaver was revisited. The beaver is a machine that has been developed by INEC, in the INEC stable. So INEC technicians went through, and revisited the beaver and what happened during our FCT election. Now, you can recall that after the FCT election, there was an election in Nasarawa State, there was in Plateau State, there was in then governorship election in Ondo, Okiti, Anambra, and Osun, which as a supporting reg attended some of them. The viewers worked very well, but the commission wants to be doubly sure, because this election, the commission has registered about 93 million people have registered to vote in this election. So the Commission wants to be doubly sure about the workability and the functionality and how far the beavers can capture biometrics of people who have come to vote. So we are going to conduct this mock election all over the country, and two local governments were chosen in each state of the federation, and 2 area councils was chosen in FCT. So people are expected, those that they vote in these units, we have been trying to reach them through several stakeholders meetings, and tell them that we are going to conduct this exercise in their polling units so that they can come out and partake in the exercise. It's not election. They are not going to vote. We are going to test the capability, workability of the beavers so that, we are doubly sure, by the grace of God, that when we come out on the 25th of February, we will have no problem. So I call on those that fall into those views to come out and partake in this exercise so that they themselves, after that, it will be simple for them to come out on the 25th of I also extend to our own very critical stakeholders, the press, as usual, you people also should go around, encourage people to come out so that they can partake, and also monitor and see how the beavers worked out on that day. Although there's not going to be election, but at least we will know how many have come out, how many have migrated, and what time it took, so that we know that at least we are home.
The FCT Resident Electoral Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Yahaya Bello, also speaks on the danger of hate speech and fake news during the election period. Thanks for being a part of this episode. Remember, for an election to be successful and democratic, voters must understand their rights and responsibilities and must be sufficiently knowledgeable and well-informed to cast ballots that are legally valid. Join us in the next episode. I am Mariam Zakari, thanking you for watching. This program is facilitated by Institute for Media and Society and funded by the European Union. The content of this broadcast do not reflect the views of Institute for Media and Society, nor that of the European Union.